Well, so far the effects are not visible because the economic shock translate into the bank balance sheet only delayed because of the postponement of insolvency, of moratoria, of state aids, and it always needs time to dry up the funds of the companies from the real economy, which make the loans default, and then that has an effect on the balance sheet. This hit will come, but it comes on notice.
It will come on notice, but when are you expecting this to come? Because we can't, of course, have those moratoriums forever. And at one point in time, the economy has to has to get off the lifeline of all that extraordinary stimulus.
Yeah, that's indeed very difficult to forecast. Well, of course, we see that the economy as a whole is on a swift recovery, but the biggest shock, the worst for the banks, is still to come, but it's very difficult to forecast because the shock is so asymmetric and nobody really knows when companies really get into very big difficulties so that they don't pay back their loans. We expect the biggest wave in autumn and in the beginning of next year, but it can be also extended throughout the whole of the year.
Let's talk about the regulatory changes, because clearly investors and banks alike do need to know what the expectations are. When are we going back to normal, or when do we start to go back to normal?
Well, we have taken exceptional measures to allow the banks to continue lending. They were taken on the international level and the European level, also on the national level. But of course, these are temporary regimes and they have to end at some time. Banks have to refill their buffer and get back to a steady state, because only this steady state allows the resilience which is necessary to stand a shock like this. But I can assure the banks that we will not rush into the new normal. It will be a smooth process, and we will not exaggerate our expectations to the banks. So banks can use their buffers now. They will have enough time available to rebuild it after the crisis is over.
In your view, do you think the ECB needs to do more to support the banking system, i.e. change the tiering, or perhaps even get out of that negative deposit rate scenario? Is that needed to uphold the banks?
Well, I think these measures are necessary. These measures are indeed needed. But it's fair to say that this crisis is the biggest challenge for banks as well as for supervisors since the financial crisis. And it will need a big effort to go through this and to fix the problems. But our estimates and vulnerability analysis of the ECB suggest that the buffers which have been built in the last 10 years are sufficient to cover the expected losses.